who wants to answer the question, what is a unit test? Yeah.
You're testing the inputs and outputs for a function, a small bit of code.
Yeah. Small bit of code. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't write our code in such a way that it's just a function. But if you do that, it makes your unit testing experience much better. So I have a couple pictures from Una Kravitz. She's an awesome developer, and she kind of explains these different forms of testing pretty well. So here we have this input field. It has this ability to validate the input. And so a unit test might be testing that this component works and that it will display the error if there is some validation error or something. But it doesn't call it to a database or like a service or anything. It's definitely not a unit test if you're making HTTP calls or any requests like that. So integration tests, what's that? Yeah.
Maybe testing multiple of those units together.
Yeah, taking multiple units, testing them all together. So here we've got this drop-down that when you click on it, it'll go load some information and pop it down into options in the drop-down. So still in an integration test, it kind of depends, but in a UI scenario, you're not going to be making a call out to a server somewhere and get these options back. You would mock that out, but what you're testing is the integration between this drop-down and making some call, getting some fake response back, and populating the drop-down with that fake response. And then end-to-end testing. You're the man. Thank you for answering my questions. Yes, extra credit for you.
This is where you don't mock anything. You kind of go the whole request and response and everything in between.
Yeah, exactly. No mocks. Pretend you're a user, but do it with a computer. Automate it so that you don't have to manually do this. So yeah, I've heard it called flow-based testing. So you're testing a flow in your application, and so you pretty much focus as much as you can on the flows that could very potentially cause big problems. So if you're an e-commerce website, making sure that you can create a new account, log in, add products to your cart, and check out. And that whole process, maybe you're mocking the credit card because you don't want to charge money every time you run your end-to-end test, but that would be a lower level. You're hitting a test service to do that. But everything else should be the real deal. Okay, so where do we focus our time? So this is called the test pyramid. It's from Martin Fowler. And I really like these two things he has on the side here we'll talk about, but I don't really like what he's calling these things, so I fixed it for him from something from the Google blog. So what these mean on this side is things down here are faster, and the further up the testing stack you go, the slower things become from a running standpoint and also from a development standpoint. On this side, the expense is maybe not necessarily dollars, maybe it is on how hard it is to write, how much time it takes to maintain, how difficult it is to maintain. And so unit tests are really, really cheap, really fast. It's really easy to write those compared to end-to-end tests, which take a little bit more investment.